I go by the name David Franklin Naigisa. I'm just a guy with a deep passion for mental health with an aim of just helping men um, rediscover their identities, know who they are. Yeah, because I believe that knowing who you are first is more important than where you're going.
What Men Want is a bold and honest podcast that dives into the unspoken struggles of men, identity, relationships, mental health, leadership, and purpose. This is a safe space where we challenge stereotypes, offer real stories, and share practical solutions to help men rise and lead with confidence. Hosted by yours truly, David Franklin. It's time to redefine manhood, one conversation at a time.
Hey listeners, hey viewers. I go by the name David Franklin Naigisa. Yeah, I am a counseling psychology trainee, currently at the Africa Nazarene University. Yeah, I'm just a guy with a deep passion for mental health, um, and in particular men's mental health. Yeah, with an aim of just helping men rediscover their identities, know who they are. Yeah, because I believe that knowing who you are first is more important than where you're going, because I believe the former informs the latter. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. What drove me to starting What Men Want, which is the title for this podcast, is just my deep desire to redefine what masculinity or what manhood is, because you know that we live in a society that really forces men to behave in a particular way, which to me I really find or really feel that we should challenge the status quo. So for me, I think it's just giving a platform for men to be able to be vulnerable and share their struggles without feeling judged or without feeling scared. So we are going to be having very real, honest and open conversations regarding different topics: relationships, identity, manhood, religion, beliefs, what guides our beliefs. Yeah, we're going to be joined by my co-hosts. Yeah, we're also going to have guests who are going to just come in and just share their stories so that we can be able to get different experiences from people, different stories from people, real stories from people, from men who have gone through different challenges, some who have overcome, some who are still in the process of overcoming. Yeah, we are also going to have real experts who are going to just come in and just share their different perspectives and views on what real manhood looks like. My story is one where, or let me just say, is just defined by, or it's all about struggling with identity and who I am, and a lot of people pleasing. Yeah, so I am a child. I am the sixth born in a family of 8. Yeah, najua hii ilikuwa tu kidogo tukue football team, 11 players, but fortunately or unfortunately I have been raised by a single mom. Madam ni shujaa bana. Yeah, and throughout my life I have struggled with low self-esteem, feeling like I'm not good enough, and the one thing that, let me say, has defined me for a long time is just knowing who I am, living in an identity crisis, which is the worst, because you wake up feeling like you do not know what to, you do not have the motivation to do things because you don't know, what your purpose is. Yes, I've really struggled with people pleasing. I'm not gonna lie. there's what in psychology we call putting on a facade. It's just basically putting on a mask. That when you're in front of people, you are another person, but when you're alone, you're also a different person. So yeah, I've struggled with that, which has made me try to find my identity in other things. But I think through my experiences, I've really learned a lot, and they've shaped the person that I am today. So basically, this is how What Men Want came about. Just knowing who I am, what my purpose is, and living in that purpose, because it helps me live a life that is fulfilled. Yeah. For people who aren't convinced, or people who need a reason as to why they should plug into this, is one thing that I'm going to promise is authenticity. Because I know that as people, as human beings, what we crave, what we really desire is authenticity, being genuine, being real. So I promise authenticity, I promise genuineness, I promise real stories, but I also promise a value in terms of learning from the experts, and knowing what really is good, what really is bad, what should we do, what shouldn't we do. So yes, karibuni. It will be a very good journey, one that is just going to be very fun, engaging, and very authentic. I'm very insistent on being real and genuine. So karibuni sana. And you might ask the question, are men misunderstood in our current society? I believe they do, to a certain degree, to a certain extent. And What Men Want is here to give us a perspective on, how men do things, how men think, how they communicate. And this is not a podcast only for the men. I invite even you ladies, the girls, to come and just give a listen, so that we can be able to get an overview or a general perspective, of what happens in the mind of a man. So see you there.